Today I have come for an issue which is extremely crucial, important and sensitive. Land is the most precious thing for all of us. Many countries also go to war because of a piece of land. Land we consider motherland. So a piece of land is most valuable for human being. If you lose your land, then you lose everything. That is why we have considered that in India there should not be any provision for anybody to forcefully and unilaterally take away somebody's land. We must make laws which must protect every inch of land for their rightful owner. We brought this amendment for the provisions which were there in the 1995 Waqf Act, which had given unprecedented powers and authorities to the Waqf boards. You just imagine under section 40 of the Waqf Act, the state Waqf boards can declare any property as Waqf property, and once it is confirmed by the tribunals, even there is no option of going to the courts. Going to the courts was only available under writ petition, which you all know. Writ is a very limited window, which is a discretionary in nature, which doesn't change the facts. It just get into the issue of the law, not of the facts. That is why we thought we must give justice to the thousands and thousands of people who have lost their rightful claim, their ownership on their particular lands. This is not related to or targeted to Muslim alone. There are some campaign going on to set a narrative that the central government is working against Muslim community. No, we are here to correct the mistakes done in the past and to provide justice to the needy people. Let me also remind that it is not only other communities, not only Christian communities, but crores and crores of Muslim women, the poor Muslims, the destitutes, they are also deprived of the benefits which they should have got from the Waqf properties. India has the largest Waqf properties in the world. And in India also, within the country, Waqf properties are largest. Don't compare with railway properties and defense. Railway properties is for public use. Defense is for the defense of the nation. So, privately owned properties managed by the private people, it is the Waqf properties which is the largest in the world. And despite that, majority of the Muslim community are also not getting benefits. That is why I am making the point very clear from the beginning that it is not targeting any community. One of the such cases was the Munambam case. The Munambam case came to our notice some time back, and our state president Rajiv Chandrasekharji and the Kerala BJP team came to Delhi, and the matter was brought before me. Then when I had gone through the Munambam case, I was deeply upset. The 600 fishermen, the innocent people, who have paid the money from their hard-earned money, they paid for the land. They have settled everything. They have started paying taxes to the government for the land. And suddenly, the Kerala State Waqf Board decided and declared the Munambam land 404 acre of valuable land as the work property. That is how the tragedy of the Munambam came before us, and the people of the country learned about the injustice done to those 600 fishermen. They are farmers, fishermen, they are innocent people. So, looking at such injustices and such pains of the people, Narendra Modi government decided to bring amendment to the present Waqf Act. First of all, we strike down the Section 40. No authority in India should have this kind of uncontrolled, unprecedented authority to declare any property as Waqf property. This is unconstitutional. So we strike down. Now onwards, such cases like Munambam matter, there will be no arbitrary declaration of any property as Waqf property. The survey commissioner, which worked in tandem with the Waqf boards, have been removed. Now, all the surveys to be conducted by the collector will be fully authorized to assess as per the documentation available with the government records. We have found that it is the survey commissioner. So as a responsible government in the country, we had to take these very important steps. And we passed this act after thorough discussion, and we hope in the future we will not see the case like Munambam issue. Now, referring to some of the points, I want to quickly point out. After removal of the Section 40, we also removed the Waqf by user provision. That means, as per the earlier provision, anybody, any Muslim or any non-Muslim can declare any property as being used by his ancestor for any purpose, or they used to do namaz or some other purpose, without any document, report and claim about that particular portion of the land and declare it as Waqf property through the state Waqf boards. Waqf by user is a very dangerous provision. It doesn't require any document. Just imagine. By user means you just have to tell that some 100 years back, 1,000 years back, this particular place was used for some purpose, and then the particular piece of land is declared Waqf property. So we remove that Waqf by user. Henceforth, if any property has to be declared as Waqf property, it must be through a deed of declaration. You can't make oral declaration. So it is compulsory that the property must have document, valid document, registered document, and then only the Waqif, means the one who declares the Waqf, can do it as per his own wish. Section 3R, subclause 4. Now, any property which are under disputes, like the Munambam case, any property which is under dispute or under legal proceedings, means which is sub judice, cannot be settled as Waqf property. It will be, if it is under legal proceedings, then it will be decided by the court. Of course, we cannot take away the power of the court, so it will be decided by the courts. But new declaration will not be allowed. This Section 36 1A and Section 36 Clause 7. The verification of the property has to be done by the collector. I had mentioned earlier. In 2013, the Congress government, the UPA government, made this dangerous provision that anybody can create Waqf. If you get yourself converted to Muslim, you create Waqf, and then you can show anything. I mean, there was no check and balance. So we said, as per the Islamic law, as per the Sharia law, if you are dedicating your property in the name of Allah, you can do it. But you can do with the property which you own. You can't just create waqf property on any piece of land. So these are very strict provisions we have inserted in the new Waqf Act. If there are issues with the tribunals, some of the tribunals, we have changed provisions in the composition of the tribunal also. The appeals against tribunal orders now can be filed before the High Court anytime. As I mentioned earlier, it used to be under special writ petition. It was allowed. Now anybody can go and file before the High Court. And we have changed the composition of the entire work boards, councils, and the tribunals. I will give you one example. Work disputes can be with anybody. For example, Munambam issue. The fishermen can be Hindus, can be Christians, can be anybody. Now they are saying, the CPM, the Communist Party and Congress people are saying, the work board must be constituting of only Muslims. Now, if it is a matter between Muslims, then okay, it can be only Muslims sitting on the board. But dispute can be with anybody. The dispute can be from any religious background. So, in the board, we have made provisions that even non-Muslims also can be made member in the board. However, majority will remain with the Muslims. We are not taking away the authority of the Muslims. In the state work boards, majority non-Muslim can be 3. And in the Central Work Council, which is headed by me in the present time, we will have maximum 4 non-Muslims. And we are not picking up anybody to put there. We will be putting those people who know the Islamic laws, who are well aware of the provisions and the legalities, an experienced person, the scholars, so that the feedbacks from those scholarly people to be made members in the boards and the council can be of useful. So that is why you can imagine, as a genuine citizen of India, if a dispute arises between parties of different religious background, how can you make the board constituting of only one particular religious group? So that is why we have made it much more inclusive and also broad-based. I will be meeting the people, I will be listening to them. Now, some of the issues which I want to highlight is this Munambam issue, which I had gone through briefly, the multiple change of the ownership in the past. But one important issue which I want to highlight is there was this Muhammad Siddiqui said he had transferred a particular property to Farooq College. Now, as per the Islamic law and Islamic practice, once you create a waqf, it cannot be transferred. Now, he has transferred the particular property to the college. Once it is transferred, then that particular property is no more waqf. However, because of the provisions containing there in the old act, the High Court had given a ruling. So now, as a minister, I will not say that the High Court order is redundant. I have to honor the judicial pronouncement, but it is challengeable in the Supreme Court. And I would strongly urge that because of the provisions in the old act, it was disadvantageous to the Munambam people, the fishermen. Now, with the existing new act, new provisions, with the supporting provisions which we have made, now it is easily challengeable in the Supreme Court. Because it is sub judice, that is why I am not making direct comment of giving a particular status, because it is in a way sub judice, because there are cases filed in the courts. So the recourse which is available to the innocent farmers, the fishermen, is to approach to the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, after this passing of the new act, we are 100% sure and guaranteed that such Munambam case will not happen again in India. It cannot happen because we have made the provision clear and strong. Nobody should suffer like the way our innocent fishermen of Munambam have suffered. The pain, the agony, the difficulties they've endured for such a long time, anybody can feel it. After paying the amount, after paying the taxes, they had to suffer so much. So we have made a very stringent provision that nobody else would suffer the way they have suffered. We are in a federal structure. The spirit of federalism is very clear. We have made the law. As a Minister for Minority Affairs and as the Chairman of the Central Waqf Council, we will issue certain directions and certain suggestions to the state government to carry out certain steps. We are in the process of formulation of the subordinate legislation. When an act is passed, you have to frame the rule. So we are doing it. It is in the process. We would urge the state government to immediately ask the concerned district collector to revisit the entire status which were conducted by the survey commissioner. The district collector must go and re-look into the entire matter to provide justice to the Munambam fishermen. And also, state government should support all necessary things to ensure that the justice is given to the innocent farmers. Provide all documentation and necessary legal and administrative support. And I will also direct my officers to provide all necessary assistance to ensure that the fishermen of the Munambam get their rightful claim and ownership of the land which belong to them. Because of the politics, innocent people have suffered. During the course of discussion and outside also, I had appealed to the MPs of Kerala, before you oppose the Waqf Amendment Bill, please think about the sufferings and the pains of the 600 families of Munambam. These 600 fishermen have been appealing to everyone. So I told the people of Kerala that please put pressure to the Congress and the Communists, the LDF and the UDF, both the groups. Don't play vote bank politics. Please take a genuine and very rational step. I appeal to them, and in the floor of the House, I also made ardent appeal to them that please vote and support and ask your conscience. Don't play vote bank politics.